serious problems.
Right, Sevi, what's your serious problem, mate?
Oh, Jimmy, so glad you asked. I've been waiting for this. No, kicked things off with the skiathlon today with however many different nationalities that were represented. But of course, ended up having a good old fight with my other Australian teammate, Hugo Hinkfus, out there, which is a classic. So Australian champs within the Olympic Games, as always.
Yeah, so you boys didn't have the greatest day. But anyway, for the listeners that don't know this guy, Sevi Di Campo, he's also known as the main host of the Aussie Corner. And Sevi's been with us in Serious Bomb since episode number 1, where you did a surprise intervention.
That's
I don't
it,
know if
yeah.
you remember. So a long-time friend of the podcast. And Mika's like, how do you say?
Yeah, he didn't reply to your message.
Yeah, so that's a standard Mika procedure when he's having like a bit of a shit day, or he's busy, or he has other things on his mind. Then he just doesn't answer messages. So
You're used to it.
I'm used to it.
We had this plan in place.
Yeah, we already had this in place because Mika's not been having the greatest day. So we thought we'd give him a break, do a good debrief on the women's skiathlon and the men's skiathlon. There's lots of things to talk about Olympics. Give you a bit of like a background of everything that's been happening here.
But first, can I ask you, Jimmy, what your serious problem is?
Put me on the spot. My serious problem is that actually you're a 2-time Olympian already, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm only
beating him to it.
I'm only a 1-time Olympian yet so far. I have another 2 days before hopefully I become a 2-time Olympian. So congrats, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's good to be here. Years and years of work.
Yeah, good to
tick it off. What's the technicality? Are you an Olympian once you start?
Yeah, so I think you have to race.
Okay.
Do you have to finish the race as well? Maybe, unless
No,
maybe you get a
like
lap.
you just need to start because like your ski could break or.
Yeah, but I don't know if you qualify as an Olympian. So anyway, anybody who knows that in the comments can go and check it out.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know if that is.
Let us
becoming
know
an Olympian.
what the technicality of becoming
Yeah.
an Olympian.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure you have to race to be an Olympian.
Okay.
So there's lots of people that go to Olympics and don't actually become Olympians. How tragic is that?
Yeah, I can imagine it would be tough.
Yeah, so biggest thing now we're going to talk about is the women's skiathlon.
Yeah.
You watched the race as well?
Did watch, yeah. You?
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was kind of exciting. What's the key takeaways then?
Another one of those just brutal women's races where the top girls, Frida Karlsson kind of reminded me of Bolshanov at Beijing, just looping through, taking out competitors. It was pretty impressive though.
It looked like they started quite control on the first lap, and then Frida was like, "Okay, lap 2. This is done. Like I'm gonna attack now," and then immediately broke away.
Yeah,
a group of like 4 or 5 girls.
She looked super relaxed.
Yeah,
and her classic striding technique is insane.
It was devastating to see Jessie Diggins crash though in the big corner. That I said she didn't watch my reel because I said I posted a reel where I explained the crucial parts of this skiathlon, and I was like, careful.
He knows about crashing, this guy. If there's one guy giving advice on how not to crash, you want to listen to this guy. I
said this is super technical corner. I almost crashed in that corner when I was doing race prep. So and she didn't listen to my reel and crashed there, so that was devastating.
She was too busy hugging her husband who came and surprised the team. You heard about that one?
No,
breaking team protocol. I don't know if this is.
Yeah, it's everything's allowed.
This is the gossip
Everything's
podcast.
Allowed on Skiers Problem.
Nah, so apparently the US team have like a strict no hugging people outside the bubble rule for the Olympics, and then the moment Jessie's husband rocks up, surprised her, she just hugs him. Posted that all over their social media.
Oh shit!
Apparently, a few of the people are like, right, okay. But yeah, I guess if Jessie's probably the one person that can break the rule, she probably makes the rules. But yeah, someone said the other day, I mean, probably a talking point is like Jessie obviously didn't have her best day regardless of a crash, but she's raced every single World Cup going for the overall, whereas like Frida and Ebba have avoided or missed some of the World Cups to kind of peak for these Olympics. What do you think about that?
If you're going for the World Cup overall and you race everything, you take the chance of not performing at the major championships, which is kind of what happened to Astrid Øyeslind in Trondheim and Jessie Liggins, actually. So I hope we don't see that again. I think Jessie was obviously in good skate shape because she crashed on the classic part, and then you know how it is when you crash is like kind of all your muscles kind of bunch up, and then it's like
sometimes you're a bit winded.
Exactly,
Yeah,
like they say like wood legs, you get like kind of
Wooden
like
legs.
wooden legs.
Yeah, black lung as well because you land on your stomach.
Yeah, but so it was a tough one to see, and also Daria Neprayeva crashed later on.
But that course as well is just so unforgiving. If you have a small crash or even just break a pole, it's so hard to catch up. And we saw today with Zach Kedison, Gus Schumacher, Evan Anger kind of all crashed on the first lap, and like it was just game over after that.
But back to the women's race, what was kind of exciting is that there was a breakaway with 2 Swedes and 1 Norwegian.
3 Swedes.
It was actually 3 Swedes at the start.
Had to go for a bit.
So and then Sundling completely exploded.
Yeah, you could tell.
And Astrid Øyerslin, when she switched to skate, also completely exploded. I think that's when kind of like Frida put the revs up and started going really fast. And then it turned out into a bit of a boring race, right? So it was like Frida so far ahead.
Yeah, Jimmy actually got up. He said, right, might as well just make a tee.
Exactly, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's impressive just to like watch someone like Frida in that kind of shape skiing so well, but it's also just like an interval start or just the TV camera needs to kind of, should we follow the story about the chase group now?
Yeah, but like that's the thing that was a bit like shit is that they just showed Frida and Ebba the entire time, whereas at the back, like in the group 2, or like it was kind of split a bit.
I mean, it was like
there was like lots of things changing. Suddenly, Heidi Weng started going really fast on the skate, and then they
probably could have showed a little bit more of Nadia Carlin, who had an insanely good race, and like we didn't even really see the sprint Nadia did across
exactly
and Astrid Slim. We just see the finish straight,
which
would have been nice.
I mean, which is kind of normal. You have to show the winner in a second, but like still it would have been cool to see that. And but we shout outs of the top 10 then. We have to say Nadia Kaling, great effort.
MVP.
And Katerina Yanatova.
Do you guys do an MVP, MPC?
Yeah, I mean, we could do. The only problem is we cannot show the TV footage because it's Olympics, and so it's like very strict rules. But yeah, I would say Nadia Kaling, Katerina Yanatova, like insane efforts. I think seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nations in the top 10.
Yeah,
and average
day
7 nations in top 10. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
For women, I think that was super exciting.
Good for the sport. Germans didn't have their top day, but I'm really excited to watch them in the sprinting.
I think Germans had shit skis though.
Okay.
Rumor is, I think they really didn't have good skis. Looked like the Norwegians had really good skis.
Yeah.
And there's another shout out I want to do. First, the Frenchies, the young girls were really good.
Perry.
Yeah.
Perry.
And I think we need to give a shout out as well to Anna Price from Great Britain, second. And I really wanted to talk to Mika about this, but you're gonna be a replacement, Sevi. But like, she has not raced for Canada in the last 6 years.
No.
Now she goes to the Olympics, beats half the team. Joe Davis, he is not. He was kicked out of the national team in Canada, and then switched to GB. And then on most races now on World Cup, he beats all the Canadians. Yeah. And now was beaten by 1 Canadian.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? Why changing to GB just suddenly makes you good?
It's hard to say with Anna because she only just swapped, so it's not like she's had heaps of the GB.
Yeah, exactly.
Effect, apart from like
skis,
she said she had really good skis. So
yeah,
I always get Gabe Gledhill on Team GP. Always just glides past me. So
could be skis.
There's something going on in the wax cabin there.
It could also. What I was thinking, it could also just be they don't give the opportunities to the right people.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, their selection criteria for the Olympics was questionable.
It is absolutely wild.
And you could ask, like, are they doing enough to nurture the pathways in Canada, or just taking for granted that they do have enough numbers to have, enough skiers? But Joe's been he's been cradled, hasn't he? Like just to blossom under the GB. I think that's a great example of someone flourishing
Yeah.
under a good system. Any thoughts? Any more thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that was pretty much it. I think
You're another example of that, Jimmy, but we've
but that's
we've
more
heard
of
enough
a
about Jimmy.
yeah. It's more of a pathway though. Thing. It's slightly different because I think like it's interesting that Anna was never
Yeah.
being selected
Yeah.
last 6 years. Comes to Olympics, beats half the team.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that's like kind of like something is happening. That's
I mean, I have no idea.
one other thing we need to talk about the women's race is how long it was.
Yeah.
20K took like an hour for a lot of people actually.
Yeah, it looks
and the amount
soft.
of people that were lapped was unbelievable.
It was a lot quicker today in the
Yeah.
men's. A few of our Aussie girls first Olympic race got a bit of a
Tough start.
Bit of a tough start, but they'll be back.
Mate, men's race, what happened today? You were racing. What was the deal? Like I think we can say that you underperformed.
A little bit, yeah.
But I think
mixed emotions,
yeah.
definitely disappointment flying in there as well straight after the finish. But as Jack Jeffries would say, amazing experience today out there. Amazing crowds.
Jack Jeffries is the athlete that got selected for Team GB.
Yeah. Is he your mate?
I don't know him so well, no.
But anyway, the race, fast from the start, which we all expected. A bit of Constantina bunching up, but every time like the hill started, it was just like sprinting.
Similar to the women's race, actually. It was like kind of like still a big group on the first lap, and then second lap, uphill out of the stadium, boom, it like...
Just flick the switch and it's like the group's broken away.
The thing is, it's like a long, hard uphill, and
Yeah.
straight after is like this technical downhill, so suddenly it's like people skiing one behind the other.
Yeah.
Somebody's a bit scared in the downhill, boom, the group splits, and then it's like another uphill, and then it splits again, so...
Yeah, it was actually a pretty tough course to just like chill in a group. Like if someone wants to break away, they get pretty immediate reward with that.
Yeah.
And actually the downs were not crazy, but there is a bit to like taking the right line, skiing well on the downs, which Clabo did really well today.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, like, mind-blowing thing is watching France get a silver medal.
Yeah.
That was like, I know Mathis Deloge,
Yeah.
and I was actually talking to a friend this morning. Like, we have a good friend in common, and I was just talking to him. I was like, wow, it's crazy that Mathis has like managed to like kind of build this hype around himself.
Yeah.
He's like dedicated so much energy. He didn't go to Tour de Ski, and like he really like said to everyone in the media, I'm going for a medal.
he
Like that's
sacrificed
I'm
a
going
lot.
to Olympics to get a medal.
Yeah.
And then he like putting that pressure on yourself is already pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to my friend and I was like, come on, it's like if you're not able to be on the podium on the World Cup, it's hard to start
Exactly.
getting your first podium at Olympics.
Exactly.
And then he fucking did it.
Yeah.
And he did it with style, like beating Nyenge in the Finnish sprint. Like
Finnish
Nyenge is a
sprint.
good Finnish sprinter. And that was like crazy.
Yeah. I don't know, the hype was through his social media and to the media. He's been at altitude.
You know,
You were saying he could have almost gone for the win if he actually had maybe a bit more experience podiuming or winning previously. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he looked
like
really strong.
he looked so good on the skates. Like it felt like if he had the confidence, maybe he could have attacked. And honestly, Klæbo slowed the pace on purpose because it looked a bit like Klæbo might have been on limit. Klæbo obviously didn't want to take any chances, so he went to the front and just like slowed down.
Yeah, just big snowplow into the downhill there. No, I think he looked around on that second last lap and thought, right, okay, I'm probably got this covered. I may as well just make sure of it and just slow down a few seconds. Maybe Amundsen was the only other person that could have challenged for a silver or pushed Klæbo, but unfortunately he fell over.
Yeah, what actually happened? There was some sort of tangle with the French and with the Russian.
One of the top corners, which was quite icy, those two downhills at the very top stayed really hard packed and icy. He just went down. Gave Trills Gusselman a good ride though to come through for the race of his life. Shout out Trills.
But that's the thing is Edwin Anger crashed in the first lap.
Yeah.
And then honestly, Trills Gusselman just like stepped it up for the Swedes. Honestly, that race, has to be the best race of his life.
Oh yeah.
Like he has been good on World Cup before, but I don't think he's ever been at that level. And
Rumor is his VO2 max is only like 67,
oh yeah,
which is way off the international standard.
yeah,
But it just shows that good technique, good threshold speed,
yeah.
and just stepping up in the moment. VO2 doesn't matter.
Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, Yanatova's VO2 I think is in the like 70s, which is not that high compared to what the best ones probably have. So yeah, it's not all about VO2 max.
Interesting. Shout out, Truls. Sorry for telling everyone your VO2 is really small, but doesn't matter. Hey?
He's got some other stuff that's really big apparently though.
Yeah. Mika was telling me. So maybe he's been talking to the ski jumpers.
Yeah, because they inject the
Yeah,
penis
for
with,
injecting, mate. Fill in everyone with that.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the podcast already.
Injecting their balls.
There's been this rumor. It's not their balls, I think. It's so they inject their penises.
I thought it was saggy balls.
Oh, I think
was
it's the penis, and then it with this like
enlargement.
What is it again? This anyway, it's some sort of chemical that makes your penis get a bit bigger for a couple of months, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And the rumor is that some people have been using that to have a bigger area in the because it's a massive advantage for when you're flying.
More wing speed in the crutch area.
Yeah, exactly. That's well explained.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that though, Jimmy, naturally. Now, who should we mention?
I think again, exciting. Lots of nations in the top 10.
Yeah,
and
it was
so
really good to see.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the top 10, 7 in the top 11. So I think that's like pretty cool. GB
showing that he is an incredible athlete once again.
Yeah.
Let's hope he can come through for that elusive medal skate 50K Classic.
Actually, interesting fact, this is Muzzy's second best ever result.
On Olympics.
Yeah. He said he had like some problem with nutrition and like he felt really thirsty and then felt really shit on the classic.
He was a little bit hungry.
Yeah, it was a bit peckish.
He trained 4 years to just be a little bit hungry before the race, and then he just needs to take a few extra gels.
And then he got really thirsty.
Yeah.
So it's like
crazy.
It's like the basic needs that
crazy. Yeah, the fundamentals. And a bit of a story as well from being in the race was challenging waxing conditions for the classic, being like parts of the course were in the shade, a lot of quite steep hills that were right on the limit between striding and herringboning. I know the Italians were kind of herringbone running a fair bit, so Davide Grads did really well to finish 8th. Yeah. And like Lapaloo looked like he had slick skis, but it didn't really matter for him. He just runs up the hill.
Yeah, I think I talked to him after the finish and he was just like, that like kind of bittersweet, like,
yeah,
I was there to make it, to get that medal. And like you're happy for your teammate, but at the same time, you kind of really feel like you maybe deserve it as well. Like he's been like at the top for many years. He was there. He was so close.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't manage to deliver that final sprint. And I felt a bit sorry for him. I think he deserves it as well. And I think the Frenchies had really good skis. So yeah, it's a bit sad. But we can also say Xavier McKeever, 13th. I think that was like a super, super good result.
Yeah, standout.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we didn't see so much of him on TV because it's like always focusing on the top 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Jimmy, you were happy with the atmosphere, the crowd numbers?
Mate, I think this is what we were
the stadium
just talking about earlier. It's like, it's only 9,000 tickets for cross country. And like the way it's set up, the crowds, you can't really... It doesn't look like there's so many people, on TV at least. And I was just watching Biathlon straight after, where they're in Antolz.
2 hours up the road or something.
And it's just like they have their stands are like way bigger than the ones we have here. They have obviously way more places on the track where they can watch. Here is only 2 places, and like the track is really long. It's like UK, and like you're only allowed in a microscopic portion of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a shame because it kind of like also puts cross-country skiing in a bit of a bad light.
Yeah, like it's kind of depressing, but doing that race, I was like, that was pretty sick as an atmosphere. But then you see the biathlon on TV and then every World Cup weekend and you're like, oh, maybe life would be better.
No, but the problem is not that the people don't want to watch cross country skiing.
Okay.
Like I can tell you, like there's tons of people that want to watch the races
Yeah, okay.
for
What, they
Olympics.
just
I think it's just
afford the
like
tickets.
the tickets were quite expensive. I think the cheapest ones,
50
early
euro or
birds,
something.
yeah, it was like 40, 50 euros.
Yeah,
And then it's like now the tickets have been sold, they're like 150.
yeah.
So
yeah.
it's really expensive, and there's just not enough tickets. Like 9,000 is nothing. We had
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
120,000 in Trondheim.
I
mate.
don't know why
Only
they
there
capped
was
it, though.
only in the stands in Trondheim was 40,000.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Like this is Olympics. You need to have like way bigger place for people, and like I don't know, sell some tickets in around the track for like 20 euros, and then of course there's going to be more people. It's just like kind of annoys me a bit because I think lots of people would like to come, but they just
Yeah.
don't. They just
it should
They
just
just
be like
can't.
as low barrier to come and attend and watch as possible. Like they're gonna make enough sales because enough people want to come and watch cross country skiing.
Well, they
Run
could
it to
just do
World
it if
Champs,
they
like,
want. Yeah,
So many locals in the valley were just like, yeah, no, we didn't go because we couldn't afford it. And
It was,
it's like
like, so
10-minute drive
expensive.
up to the stadium, and they just didn't want to pay for a ticket for the World Champs. So marketing issue to deal with there.
or it's just kind of like this. I feel like a bit IOC sort of like elite.
Yeah.
It's only
How much is a biathlon
expensive.
ticket?
I have no idea, but it was like I was watching on TV. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
crazy. Like the stands are like 3 times as big. And
I
then-
thought they would be all right
Yeah.
because when I looked at the ticketing, it had like those stand ticket or the seated tickets for like
Yeah.
700 euros, which is like they had like the premium package, which your millionaires in Milan will buy because they got money, they want to come to the cross country, see the finish line. But then there's no reason just to fill up like the rest of the course with everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been rambling on for ages now. Thanks for tuning in. We'll give you another update after the sprint.
Shout out Des Lodge, also yellow card, no worries.
Yeah, also yellow Mathis Delage cutting the track like it's nothing. That's crazy.
What's the head noise like after you do that and you're like, well, I still go for gold.
I was like,
I might be
"Fuck, is he
DQ'd
gonna-"
after this.
I was so scared he was going to be disqualified.
Yeah.
Luckily, only got a yellow card. And I checked the rules, and the rules are that it's only if you get a clear impact on the final result that they'll disqualify you.
I think it was
Otherwise, they give
fair
you a
enough
yellow
to say
card.
that it was not a clear advantage.
Well, it was like, I think you can say it was an advantage, but it wasn't like a clear impact on the final result. Like he did cut the corner, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave you guys to tell us in the comment if
Let
you
us know
think
in
that
the
was
comment.
unfair or not.
Just vent in the comments.
Thanks for tuning in, and tune in again in a couple of days after the sprint. Ciao, ciao.
Serious problems.